Welcome to the Black Community Ally Training, or BCAT for short. My name is Dr. Wendy Stewart, and I work at MiraCosta College as the Interim Associate Vice President, Chief Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Accessibility Officer. I'm really excited to welcome you to this training, and in this short introductory video, I'm going to provide a little bit of an overview of what you can expect from the BCAT, including each one of the 4 modules. I am one of the co-founders of the BCAT with my colleague, Shante Mitchum, who is an associate faculty member in sociology at MiraCosta College, as well as a doctoral student at the University of Southern California. Her and I both created the BCAT because, like many people who were impacted by the murder of George Floyd, we were left with a sense of helplessness. We wanted to be able to impact communities and develop a training or do some work where we felt like we were able to make movement. We focused on allyship versus a lot of different topics that we could have chosen because allyship is connected to action. So part of this training and your participation in this training, it'll be coupled with education and foundational information and hopefully increased awareness. But everything is really going to be tied to what do you do in your role at the college and how that is tied to action as a Black community ally. The BCAT is broken up into 4 modules that are designed to be completed across 4 to 5 weeks. So about 1 module per week is around the pacing that you should go. The first module is Foundation in History, and it's really designed to give you an understanding of the impact of slavery as well as racial inequalities in this country, and really how that impact has taken its toll on the Black community and how we see that impact showing up in our campus. The second module takes a specific look at your campus. So we're looking at MiraCosta College, we're looking at our equity data, we're looking at both qualitative and quantitative data around student success specific to our Black students. We're also giving an opportunity for you to hear the voices from our Black community. So you'll have a chance to watch a video where you'll gain a deeper understanding of what does it mean to be Black at MiraCosta and the impacts of being Black that our Black community deal with on an everyday basis. The third module provides some foundational information on what does it mean to be an ally. So we go over the specific steps to allyship, including a 4-part model that Shante Mitchum and I created around acknowledging your privilege, listening, leveraging your privilege, and yielding to Black voices. So we'll walk you through that 4-part model and provide some specific steps and tools for how you can really, again, connect with action as a Black community ally. The 4th module is unique in that we're really focused on doing the work. And so we recognize that while it can be very convenient to take a Canvas course and to do the work remotely, we have to gather face to face. So the module 4 really is focused on a live session where we'll be able to actually discuss the content. It's not designed to test your expertise, but really to open dialogue and talk about how do we take everything that we've learned and apply that in the work that we do at the college. Being a Black community ally does not mean that you're stepping into space as an expert. It also doesn't mean that the information you're going to learn in this training is brand new. You might come to this work already having a lot of background in the area of equity, a lot of background in the areas of racial justice. What we are asking you to do, though, is to come with an open mind and an open heart. Be prepared to experience whatever you feel in the training, and be open to what it is that you are learning. The BCAT was designed in collaboration with a lot of efforts that are taking place on campus around inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. And you'll recognize that there's a lot of resources that Shante is going to talk to you about that we're providing within the BCAT. The BCAT is also in collaboration with our campus-wide book reads. So we've had multiple book reads at the college since 2020. As part of this training, I encourage you to get that supplemental information. And while you might not have time during the BCAT, read those books if you haven't read them already after you complete the training, as they can really assist with part of what it means to be a Black community ally. We're excited to have you in this space. We're excited that you signed up for this training, and we're excited that you are here and your willingness to be a Black community ally can lead to actual change for our students and for our community. I'm now going to hand it off to Shante.
So now that you've learned about the basics of the training, let's talk about the elephant in the room. And that is this concept of race. And why is it so difficult to engage in these conversations? We're taught from a very young age that we're not supposed to point out racial difference, that pointing out someone's differences from you or talking about race is in fact playing the race card or it's inherently racist. But in reality, not having these conversations is a lot of the reasons why we are not able to come to the table and become comfortable with one another through engaging in these conversations and simply learning and hearing each other out. Not talking about race allows people with privilege to maintain that privilege and not have to examine the way that they walk around the world with various privileges and access to things that people from historically oppressed groups do not have access to. If you live in a racialized body, so for me as a Black woman, I don't get to go about my life and not think about how I am impacted, how I'm viewed by people in the world. Talking about race is uncomfortable. Some may even call it divisive. And especially in today's political climate, you're seeing it being talked about by politicians. There's policies currently being thrown out where people do not want these conversations to happen in the classroom. And ultimately, it's because they're uncomfortable. It's because we are not taught to engage with this type of work, when in reality, we have to start somewhere. We have to be leaning into those uncomfortable conversations, respectfully, seeing each other out. And that's what we hope that this training will provide some tools for you to then come to the table with your uncomfortability, because there's no promise that that feeling is necessarily going to go away. But what we do hope is that you'll learn to engage in these conversations even through that uncomfortability. Many people are afraid to have these conversations, and oftentimes it's simply because they don't feel prepared, or they're fearful that they're gonna say the wrong thing. And we hope that participating in the BCAT will provide the tools for us to move through our uncomfortability and realize that we must have these conversations. If our goal is racial justice, if our goal is dismantling anti-Black racism, we have to be willing to come together and have these oftentimes very difficult conversations. We live in a colorblind society, and that really just means we're taught, much of the racial issues that occur are so deeply embedded within our institutions. We're again taught to not point out racial differences. We want to live in a world where we don't have to talk about anti-Black racism. But the reality is that's something that's existed for us for so long that these conversations must become more commonplace in the areas in which we're trying to make change. There's no expectation that at the end of this training, you are an expert on race. We all are coming to this space with various amounts of experience, with differing amounts of comfortability. Some of us have been having these conversations about race, like myself, who's a sociologist. These conversations are very common and central to what I do. But we recognize that not everyone is coming to this space with that same sense of comfortability. And so we hope that you are here and ready to engage in this critical conversation about the experiences of the Black community here at the college.